What's going on, and welcome to another episode of Long Locks and Big Rocks. Today's video, we're not working on this. We're working on that. And mainly the rear suspension. Now, when we've been towing our Jeep, even though I've got those air shocks in there that I usually pump up to like almost 200 PSI, I think about 180, it still tends to sag a little bit. And I just don't like that. You know, I want it to ride a little bit better. So, to kind of change that up, I went and started looking on the internet and found a company, Airlift, that sells basically bags that go inside the coils. Those of you that have followed the channel might have seen that I attempted to put some junior footballs in there to see if that would help, but they kind of popped. They weren't that good. Of course, you know, I like staying kind of cheap on a budget, so I went ahead and looked around on the old Jungle site and happened to find a knockoff that was a lot cheaper than what the Airlift brand was. Let me go ahead and flip the camera around, show you what we're working with today. So like I said, this is not Airlift brand, but it just happens to be the exact same components that come in that kit. It does have instructions. We've got some airline. We've got some bags. I think there's a couple little spacers, some hose clamps, a valve, and some plates. So the idea is to try and get that installed on this to see if that will help the rear while we're towing. We're going to try to make a 1500 tow a little bit more like a 2500. The first step they got to do is to jack the vehicle up. Now you're going to want to support the jack stands under the frame so it allows the rear axle to droop as much as possible. That's just going to open up the coil springs and give you as much room as possible to get down in here. You'll see in a minute. So as you can see, there's the football that we tried. This one's been, looks like deflated for a long time, but allowing that rear end to droop down gives you the most room to stick the bag in there. Now some of you might be wondering, why are you outside in the rain working on this and not in the garage? Well, that just so happens that the garage is full. Too many projects, not enough time. So I think the next step is, let me get those old footballs out and then we will proceed from there. So I don't know if you saw, but I ran into a few problems trying to squeeze this in the vehicle. The coil spring wound up coming out, so I thought, well, hey, this is even better. So went ahead and got this set up. This is going to sit there like this. Then there's this spacer, which is going to go on top, and then in the vehicle the airline is going to come down and connect to it. So now the next step is going to be get this back in there. I'll tell you what, this was a struggle, but we're going to get by. And like I said, we've only got one more to do, right? In the kit, it gives you two of these kind of Schrader valves so that you can either A, plummet both sides individually, or you can plummet together. Me, I'm going to tie them both into one, and where I'm going to put that fitting is right inside the filler neck. So this right here is for the air shocks in the back. So I'm probably just going to drill a hole and mount it a little bit lower. So then we'll have air shocks and we'll have helper bags. Went ahead and used a 5/16 drill bit and got this drilled and mounted at least. So like I said, this is for the air shocks. This is going to be for the helper bags. And when we close this up, nobody's the wiser. So I went ahead and got the one installed again. I went and ran the air line through the top. It actually runs over the cross members here and kind of loops back around here, and then you can see it ties in up there. So now all we got to do is repeat the process over on this side. I've already got the coil spring out. I think it's just easier to do it while it's on the ground. So I'm going to fight this for a little bit and then get this one back in. Finally got the other one in. Man, was that a fight. I don't think I'd wish this upon even my worst enemy. It is not a fun process. But it's done. So get this back in there. And we'll get the airline run. Then kind of start buttoning this project up. So after a hard fought battle, the other one's in. We got this one in. Got it all plumbed. You see the white fitting right there. That's what goes to the both airbags. So now it's time to drop it back down, get it off jack stands, and then put some air in there. Went ahead and filled it up. Paperwork says max 35, so I wrote that on there. I think we put about 30 in there, so we'll see how that does. I guess the next step's going to be hook up to a trailer and try to tow something. So it's actually been a little bit since we got the airbags installed on the Suburban. So we really haven't figured out whether or not those are better than these. But hopefully we can change that soon and see, does that make a difference when towing our Jeep? Now another thing we decided to add to the equation here, as you can see over here, is weight distribution hitch. So we got the brackets here, the arms there, and the hitch there. So hopefully the air shocks with the airbags with the weight distribution hitch will make a night and day difference. And when we find out, you'll be sure to see it right here on the channel. So until next time, remember, there's no time like the present, so start them young. Bye.